That's how I feel whenever I look at American content on social media. Whenever I look at the vapid, frivolous, self-obsessed, indulgent, privileged inanity of American content most of the time, even most of the political content is completely oblivious. In a way, it's heartbreaking. It's kind of heartbreaking, really, because not only do they have no concept of what's coming to them, they can't even understand what's actually already happening to them. You understand? You're being lulled and tranquilized by the false assurance that somehow America is always going to win, that America is always going to thrive, that America is always going to come out on top. And you think that the way that things have been for only basically like 3 generations, from the World War II generation to the baby boomers to Gen X to the millennials, this minuscule blip in history, somehow you have convinced yourselves that it's going to last forever. That America is the sun around which everything revolves, and not just a sparkler. No, it's just a sparkler. It's just a quick firecracker. Shortest empire in history, but with the most grossly inflated self-image that the world has ever seen. The America in your head is a Marvel superhero, but the reality is like some obese teenager in a dollar store leotard and a towel for a cape and a mask that his mother made him. That's the reality. The reality of American empire is a stolen lottery ticket, and you misread how many zeros are on the winning ticket, on the winning prize. You thought you won everything. You thought that you were going to be set for life, but it's not the case. Turns out you didn't win your way into permanence. You understand? I don't think anyone has ever in history been as deluded about the nature of their society as the Americans are deluded. And subhanAllah, the persistence of those delusions is really remarkable. That's the most remarkable thing to me. It's like a drug-induced brain fog. Like I said, when I scroll American social media or American content on social media, that's all I see. People on hallucinogens. I mean, the fissure, the gaping chasm between the seriousness of your situation and the unseriousness with which you view your situation is truly staggering. You understand, the U.S. Treasury Department just announced few days ago that America is functionally insolvent. Do you understand? Your liabilities and your obligations vastly surpass your assets. If that exact same condition were to be applied to any other country, if the magnitude of that condition were to happen to any other country in the world, it would result in immediate cataclysmic crisis, economic collapse. That country would be downgraded into the depths of hell. You understand me? The whole country would be foreclosed upon. The whole country would be auctioned off. Can you just imagine, Uncle Sam, when the repo man comes, talking about, you can't do this to me. Do you know who I am? Yes, it can happen to you. It can happen to you, and it is happening to you. You understand? Your elites have burned through your empire like crepe paper. Yes, there's no such thing as Team America. There isn't. There never has been. They make you think it's a team, but they don't act like it's a team. It's a team in the same way that you have a team of dogs pulling a sled. That's the kind of team it is. It's a chain gang team. You're a fool if you think there's anything called Team America, if there's any Team America. The American people thought they were on the team, and they're the first ones to be sacrificed. And then the politicians thought that they were on the team, and they got sacrificed too. Every single one of you gets fed through that machine. Every single one of you gets fed through that extraction vacuum machine that you have used to ransack the whole world. And all the time thinking that that ransacking and thinking that all of that pillage was all being done for you. All that time thinking that you were wreaking havoc in the global south, extracting other people's resources, other people's natural wealth, stealing and looting and enslaving people. You thought it was all being done for Bob and Linda in the suburbs. You thought that the colonial imperial monster of America was in service to you and to your comfort and to your convenience. You thought that the whole world was being subjugated to be your footstool. Team America. You understand? And you got fat and you got lazy and illiterate and unskilled and complacent and over-entertained and self-indulgent and stupid. And you thought that the carnage machine would just keep feeding you and never feed upon you because Team America. No, you never understood how any of this works in reality or why. I've said it before. Any society that does not care doesn't care at all about the quality of the people that it produces, well, they only view their people as disposable, as expendable, and as consumable. Now, your society never cared about you. They never cared about you at all. You thought because they were slaughtering and because they were pillaging all around the world, and you were getting some benefit from that, so you thought that they were doing it because they loved you. You thought the system loved you. You thought the country loved you. How myopic of you. How delusional. You thought that the killing machine, that vicious system of degradation and subjugation, you thought it had a soft spot for you. You thought it was doing all of that just for you. And you thought it would keep on doing it and it would never end. You slept on a waterbed filled with the blood of the global South, filled with the blood of Africa, filled with the blood of Central and South America, filled with the blood of Asia. And all you in the middle class and all you in the upper class, all you upper class and middle class Americans, you thought that you were just the precious little princesses of your Uncle Sam, of your favorite Uncle Sam. And you thought that that serial killer uncle of yours was only doing what he was doing for your sake, so that you could have all the nice things that you wanted. Why, you're a fool. You're a fool. There's no Team America. There's no such thing as America, in fact. And if you don't see what I mean, you're going to see it soon enough. You're going to see it soon enough if you can't see it already. Now, I've talked to the West many times, and I've addressed the American people many, many times. And I've already told you repeatedly what you have in your near to midterm future and in your long-term future. And I've told you what you need to do to prepare for that, but I know you won't do it. I know you won't do it because the overwhelming majority of you cannot do it. All the human skills and all the human qualities that are required to be able to do it, all the prerequisites of being able to do it, you don't have them. You don't have the required prerequisites. Because like I say, your society never cared about you. Your society never meant for you to cultivate those qualities. They never meant for you to have those skills. Your society discarded you before you were even born. That's the truth. Your society has ensured that you're useless. Your society has ensured that you would be completely incapable and incompetent. And you, stupidly, thought that this complete abject lack of care was actually your society prioritizing you. You thought that your society loved you because they gave you devices, because they gave you apps and streaming services. They gave you toys and junk food and movies and music and filters to make you look good on social media. No, your society has relentlessly rendered you incapable and useless. You can't even think for yourselves. You can barely even read and write in your own language. You can't concentrate for more than a few minutes at a time. You can't process information. You can't remember anything. You can't even read a map. You can't do math. Your thoughts are all scrambled. Your families are broken. Your relationships are toxic. You're frivolous and silly and self-obsessed. A society can't hate you more than that. No, you can't hate a people more than when you make those people nothing but dead weight on the earth. When you completely disconnect people from their own innate human potential and you render those people as nothing but automatons in service to your system, you can't hate them more than that. That's the pinnacle of contempt. And that's Team America. I'm not saying any of this to insult you. I've told you many times. I'm saying it to let you know how badly your society has done you. And because maybe one or two of you will listen. Maybe one or two of you will get the message. You need to stop thinking in terms of any sort of mass movement in your country. You need to stop thinking in terms of any sort of national, countrywide mobilization for change. And you can completely put out of your mind that any of this is going to turn around. It's not going to turn around. None of this is going to be reversed. You understand me? The deterioration, the decline, the dismantling. That's an irreversible process. It's an irreversible process. So don't comfort yourself with the lie that somehow this is all cyclical. It's not cyclical. It's gravitational. What goes up must come down. And you're going to be in denial about this. I know you will. I know you're in denial about it now. You're going to be in denial about it probably for years. Some of you for maybe even longer, maybe your whole life. But the truth is that you're not going to see anything at all in the future except more deterioration from here on out in the United States. I can tell you what the future looks like in the U.S. And that's not even me telling the future. You understand? I'm not a fortune teller or something. It doesn't really even count as a prediction. When you're talking about something like this, when you're talking about this sort of thing, it's not even a prediction. It's like if I throw a rock out the window, am I telling the future or am I making a prediction? Is it some kind of a prophecy when I tell you that that rock is going to hit the ground? No, there's nothing else that can happen. There's nothing else that can happen. And there's nothing else that will happen with America, with the United States. The rock is falling to the ground, and that's irreversible. You understand? Once an irreversible trajectory has been engaged, has been entered, well, you may as well treat the end point as having already been reached because it's inevitable. I told you what would happen to any other country, what would happen to any other country that was insolvent the way America is insolvent. Crisis, catastrophic collapse. That's what would happen to any other country in the world that had the same financial conditions that the U.S. has right now. But that's not going to happen to the U.S. That's not going to happen to the U.S. But don't you think for a second that that's better for you? No, you're not going to have collapse in any sort of dramatic way as would happen to another country. You're going to erode, slow death. You know, collapse is different. Collapse happens all at once. It's a shock. People can respond to collapse, but erosion happens right in front of you. It happens right in front of you gradually, and you don't even see it. Erosion happens while you're scrolling. Erosion happens while you're arguing about trans athletes and pronouns and feminism and patriarchy and whatnot. Erosion happens while they're keeping you busy and keeping you distracted and entertained. And by the time you feel it fully, you've already adapted to it. It's the new normal. And you've forgotten what it even felt like before. That's where America is right now. That's precisely where America is right now. Look, the national debt in America is $38.4 trillion. It grew by $2.23 trillion just last year. In 1 year, that's $6 billion a day, $255 million an hour, $4 million a minute. And what do you think they're going to do about it? You and I both know what they're going to do about it. They're going to cut any and every program that serves the poorest people, the neediest people, because Team America. You know, net interest payments, just interest payments, have tripled in the last 5 years. In 2020, in October 2020, the United States of America paid $345 billion in annual interest. By October 2025, $981 billion in interest, nearly $1 trillion a year, just in interest. Understand? This is not a country that's spending on their future anymore. They can't spend on their future anymore. This is a country that is paying the bill for its past. And this is what you have to understand. That's why this is happening. Up until now, all you have been doing is running up a bill. And your whole future now is going to be nothing but payment. Nothing but payment. Total household debt in America is $18.8 trillion, the highest it's ever been. The average household owes $100,000. Do you understand me? $100,000. You've never even been able to afford the life that you have. You understand? The great American prosperous lifestyle, all those nice things that your serial killer uncle got for you, the great American quality of life that you post about on Instagram, on social media, and you flaunt to the world about how great your life is and how you look down on people outside the U.S. because of their comparative poverty. Well, that lifestyle, that quality of life is something that you could never afford to begin with. And it's getting less and less affordable. And it's going to keep on like that. Essential costs like housing, like groceries, like utilities, insurance, and so forth, that's gone up 20 to 25% in the last 4 years. But incomes obviously have not kept up. So you're filling the gap with debt, because debt is now the standard scaffolding around ordinary American life. And you're not paying it off. You're never paying it off. You can't. You just keep it running month after month, emergency to emergency. Average credit card interest rates hit 24% in 2025, 24%. You know what that means? The system is lending money to people to trap them, to trap people in a permanent state of obligation where they work to service the interest. They work to service the debt, not even the principal of the debt, just the interest. That's not a lending system. It's an extraction system. Team America. You know, in 1958, 73% of Americans trusted the federal government. They trusted them to do the right thing most of the time. Today, that number has collapsed to just 9%, 73% to 9%. And the Republicans only trust that their trust is only up because their man is in the White House. It'll completely collapse next time if a Democrat wins. Trust has become tribal. It's become conditional. It's not institutional. You understand? You trust your party. You trust your group. You trust your class. You trust your race. But you don't trust a single institution in your own country. Not the government, not the courts, not the schools, not the media. What kind of a team is that? You don't trust anyone on your team, so-called team. And I'm not telling you that you should trust your institutions. Why, you'd have to be a fool to trust any institution in that country. But my point is the erosion. This is erosion. Only 1 in 5 Americans are even able to convince themselves that their children are going to be better off than they were. 4 out of 5 of you, 4 out of 5 Americans already know that this is not going to happen. You already know that your children are going to live worse lives than you lived. The American dream has become a fringe belief inside of America. There's more people that believe in UFOs. There's more people that believe in ghosts, that believe in the lost city of Atlantis than believe in your so-called American dream. Yes, you might as well start using the term American patriot as a euphemism for brain damaged. Yes, you can either love your family, or you can love your country. You can either love your country or you can love yourself, because you sure can't do both. Because your country has nothing but contempt for you. They have nothing but contempt for your family. That's Team America. You can either love your community or you can love your country. But you cannot love them both, because the country hates your community. Your country hates your community. And I'm telling you, if you're on the fence about that, if you're ambivalent about that, if you're unsure, if you're uncertain about what I just told you, then you yourself are an enemy to your own community. You're an enemy to your own family, and you're an enemy to your own self. If you don't know whose side you're on, you understand me? If you don't know whose side you're on, and if you think that your country is on the same side as you, then you're either a fool or a collaborator against your own interests and against the interests of your family and against the interests of your community. That's the truth. Don't get mad at me for saying it. I didn't make it that way. I'm not the one who made it like that. I'm just telling you that that's the way it is. But yes, like I said, I talked to you before. I've addressed the people in that country before. I've addressed the people in the country, in the society that I myself came from. I've addressed them many times. And I told you what to expect. And I've told you about what you need to do. But like I say, I know you won't do it. I know you won't do it because I know you can't do it. So let me talk to my own people. Let me talk to the Muslims, alhamdulillah. And let me talk to the people of the global south generally. And let me talk to anyone who might still hold in their own minds some false notion about the United States and about the West. Anyone who might still be under the influence of Western and American propaganda. Because the truth of the matter is that there is a larger percentage of people globally who still believe in the delusional American dream, that idea, than there are people who believe in it who live there. I said 4 out of 5 Americans already know that that dream is a lie. 4 out of 5 already know that their children are going to live in worse conditions than they lived in. 4 out of 5 already know that their own kids, that their kids are not going to be better off. But you still have a percentage of our own people globally thinking that America is the place to be. You still have some of our people siding with that delusional 1 out of 5 Americans who still believe in the so-called American dream. So let me tell you what things are like really over there. Let me tell you what things are really like over there, and what they're going to be like over there over the next several years.